Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch. And that's the fact that a brand new wave of DLC collaborations has gone ahead and dropped, and finally we're going to be able to get our hands on the USJ collaboration that a lot of you had been waiting for, and pretty much like we went over in the past few days, as just the original leak went over and then the official confirmation went over, we pretty much got two separate quests to actually undertake that are going to give us enough materials to be able to make not just the armor set and the layered armor for your hunter, but also the brand new armor for both your Palico and Palamute, and the layered armor for each one of them as well. If you don't necessarily know how to get any of the event quests, make your way down to the Steelworks, speak to the courier cat, go all the way down to the add-ons option, and claim anything that's labeled in white. It should be able to turn gray, and then you should be able to have all the free item packs, free downloadable quests, and anything along those lines. Today we're going to be looking at two very specific quests. These are both the USJ collaboration quest, and the first one is actually a USJ Arceros Onslaught Rampage event quest. This one is actually going to be a really interesting one because essentially with it, you're going to be able to complete it. And once you do, you're going to be able to get the materials to be able to make both layered and actual armor sets for your Palico and your Palamute. Interestingly enough, in typical fashion, this is not necessarily a boosted damage parameters event quest. At the very least, it doesn't necessarily look to be. You're going to be fighting an Apex Arceros at the very end, at the third wave. I believe there's just a normal Arceros first, then a Bishaten, and then lastly the Apex Arceros. He's going to go into Area 2, so you should be prepared for that. Nothing necessarily haven't seen before. I didn't necessarily see him hitting any harder, having any much health or anything along those lines. It's a pretty straightforward Rampage quest that, sadly, again, Rampage, the only real criticisms towards them is that they take too long, about 15 minutes, and the rewards are average at best. But this one you're going to have to do if you want to be able to get those layered Palico, Palamute, and of course Palico and Palamute official armors. Now, after you finish the hunt itself, what you're going to be looking for is in the Rampage Rewards tab. This is where you get those tickets, the confirmation tickets or whatever it is. And you're going to be looking for a Rarity 6 item called Azure Era Seal. This is the item that you're going to want to get to be able to make both the Palico armors and the layered armors as well. I got 3 and 4 the very first 2 times that I did it. But ultimately, I think you're going to need 3 for each one of the Palicos, and then 3 for the Palamutes for both the armor and the layer armor if you want to make them separately. So you're going to need, I believe, 12 in total if you want to make all the single pieces separately. Now, once you're done with the quest, make your way down to the Buddy Smithy. Tab all the way to the right to check out the high rank armor if that is what you wish to make. You're going to have a severing weapon called F Azure Era Fan. This is a rarity 7, 190 attack. So this is actually the most powerful severing weapon for Palicos in the game. Sadly though, it is a water element one. It does have some water defense bonus as well, which is pretty decent. However, both the armor pieces for the Palico, the F Azure Era Lion's Head and the body, have 138 defense. I believe the Valstrax one has like 150 or 180 or something along those lines. So it's not the most powerful defense armor that you could just randomly throw in and equip. It's pretty good, but it's not the best one. But the weapon is the best severing weapon. However, if you do know anything about Palicos, you want a blunt weapon. So, you know, it is what it is. It's decent, but it is what it is. So doing that quest should be able to get you all of the Palico and Palamute armors and layered armors. You should be set after that. And then you're going to be able to go after the armor set for the hunter itself and then the layer armor as well. Or you could choose to do the other one first. It doesn't really matter. Now, the armor quest is actually called Usj Shrine Showdown, and you're going to be taking down a Tetranodon, an Almudron, and a Magnamalo in the Shrine Ruins. I did notice that they pretty much all spawn in the same area each and every single time, meaning like they spawn in the same place. They don't necessarily move around all that much. They have preset destinations and their rotations, so you shouldn't necessarily have too much of a hard time. They don't have any sort of like boosted damage parameters or anything along those lines. I think the Tetranodon is like pretty much just got destroyed both times that we did it. The Allmother is always annoying because, again, the movements are a little bit hard to telegraph for a lot of people. But, you know, if you're a gunner, you don't necessarily have that problem. And Magnum Aloe, again, I've been actually seeing it a lot on PC. People struggle with Magnum Aloe, realistically speaking. I think they got pretty scared from the demo and they play it either really tentatively, like really defensively, and they just kind of keep back, or they just go in head on and they don't necessarily see his movesets. So people still struggle with Magnum Aloe, but this one specifically is just a normal Magnum Aloe. You shouldn't necessarily be too concerned. What you are going to want to look into this one, though, is when you finish the event quest and you're going to be looking at the quest bonus rewards page, and you're looking for a rarity 6 sphere called Azure Era Gem. This is going to be the item that you're going to need to be able to make pretty much the armor for your hunter and the layer armor as well. Now, each armor piece is going to be made separately, both for the layer armor and for the actual armor itself. So if you want to make them both separately, you're going to have to make 10 separate pieces. So that is, you know, the reality of the situation. Now, once you're done with the quest, which I said is going to be pretty straightforward, you're going to make your way down to the smithy and the steelworks, and then you're going to be able to tap all the way to the right to the special tab and check out the Azure Age armor set. This is the one that's going to require you the Azure Era gems, and you're also going to need pieces and parts from other monsters, usually Allmother, Tetranodon, Arceros, and Magnum Aloe as well. Now, in a previous video, I went over pretty much all the stats for the entire armor set, so if you didn't necessarily see it, there's a video from a few days ago that I went over it. But essentially, the skills are Constitution 5, Water Attack 4, Weakness Exploit 2, Critical Element 3, Quick Sheath 3, and Focus 1. This is a very Blade Master melee-focused armor set. I did see that the wastes are already being like praised for being very good for dual blades, and I think longsword users are also going to see a massive benefit from this armor set. But again, it's just kind of like what was already expected. You'll also have the option to be able to craft a weapon, both longsword and a bow from the items from this very specific quest. Now, I kind of forgot when I was capturing the video to go ahead and showcase that, but you do have the option to be able to craft those weapons as well. They're very good. I know the bow is very good. I'm not necessarily sure about the longsword, but you know, I don't play either one of those weapons, so I don't necessarily care all that much. I was more interested in the armor set. You can make the armor set. Again, it comes with its very own skills, but you can also make the layered armor option. Now, the layer armor option is only going to require you to provide the Azure Era gem. So you're going to need 5 in total, 1 for each layer piece of armor. And then you also need to provide some forging materials, Tetranodon, Allmother for the chest and gloves, and then Magnum Aloe for the waist and pants. And you're going to be able to make the entire armor, the layer armor version of this armor set. And of course, change the colors around and make it look however you want. I do think this is a really cool and really clean looking armor set that I'm a big fan of, but ultimately I think a lot of people are going to be wearing it. So, you know, whatever joy you're going to get, you're going to see everyone wearing it, and it's just going to, you know, lose its appeal in that regard. But that's about all the information that I wanted to go over. A lot of people were expecting this USJ collaboration to happen this month, and we finally got it. So we got our brand new layered armors. We got a couple of actual armor sets for you, your Palico, and your Palamute as well. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.